What's up guys? Today let's have discussion about Sony WH-1000 series XM6. And people have asked me about it. Some people just brag about it, say it's big revolution. Other people just hate it so bad. Additionally, the ULT whale, a sub-flagship, have further complicated the situation. So after actually experiencing both the XM6 and Ultra whale, I have come to a more radical conclusion. How about spending half the price of the XM6 and getting a brand new XM4 instead? Let's dig in. As we mentioned earlier, today we'll compare three headphones, the XM6, Ultra and XM4. Why there's no XM5? Well, I consider the XM5 is a totally failure product, yet it's personal. And to be honest, I don't think the XM6 offers significant improvements over the XM5. Alright, enough chit-chat, let's start with their design. First, let's look at the XM6 design. Compared to the previous model, I feel it has strayed from Sony's original design aesthetics. Look, I know Sony was trying to add some useful elements, but this has made many details feel jarring. Whether the LR tags on the middle hinge or the four obtrusive microphone ports, they are all out of imbalance. Sony, once a benchmark for minimalist design, now just feels a bit disjointed. The outward protruding hinge design from the XM5 era has been adjusted with an additional angle added above the hinge to accommodate users' folding needs. Once a high-concept design language now feels concrete and clunky. I also can't stand some YouTuber describing the power button as a major upgrade. I mean, in terms of feet, its clamping force is significantly stronger than the other models. And overall pressure it exerts on your head is stronger than the other models too, though it is slightly better than the XM5. Additionally, the XM6 headband is damped and lacks calibration lines. Look, we won't discuss whether it's more prone to wear than the traditional snap-on design, but for me, if a headband can't be adjusted to a symmetric, comfortable position in a short time, and instead requires a repeated adjustment, or even taking it off to adjust by eyes, then it's not good design. Simple as that. Next, let's talk about the outerwear. When this headphone was first released, it emphasized a useful design, highlights its variable attributes, and features ultra power sounds as a selling point. They even changed the Sony logo to a laser reflective material, showing a lot of effort. However, despite its unique, distinctive appearance, I boldly speculate that this product maybe is like the repurposed design from the XM6 or XM5. The most distinctive feature is the exaggerated microphone hole, which seems inspired by audio equipment and looks quite stylish. And the overall effect is actually much better than what the XM6 offers. Of course, since the outerwear is positioned as a sub-flagship model, its build quality naturally lags behind the XM series in every aspect, including the overall plastic feel and protruding the bottoms, which appear somewhat cheap. Compared to the other models, it features an additional out bottoms, which essentially allows you to set 3 levels of low-pass filter adjustment to refined low-frequency details. We will discuss this in more details in the sound section later. When wearing the outerwear, you can easily compare the differences between the XM5's hinge design and the previous fork frame design. My theory is that since the XM6 hinge is a single pressure point, when you wear it, the clamping force is concentrated at a single point. The out and XM4's fork-shaped design effectively distributes the clamping force across the border area, following the principle that a larger pressure point results in the lower pressure. Overall, the outerwear's design is fairly standard. However, I don't think it's really achieved the useful aesthetic which Sony was aiming for. In this regard, I believe the Bose QC45 series is superior. Lastly, let's talk about the XM4. By now, you might think I'm being biased, but actually it's quite understandable. I mean, just look at the wear and tear on it. And in a way, the XM4 was the starting point for me to take Bluetooth headphones seriously. So my evolution of it is pretty simple, classical and unforgettable. When it comes to sound quality, and this is actually the core reason why I wanted to recommend XM4 to you this time, the tuning of the XM6 was simply disappointing to me. And you might say, doesn't Sony have powerful software to help you tune the sound to anything you like? Well, unfortunately, this is exactly why I'm discussing it today. Many of the XM6 sounds deficiency just can't be repaired, even with the software. To help you understand the conclusion I'm about to draw and avoiding thinking my views are too radical, let's first listen to the sample, then we can talk.
揽佬，出来混就别怕输，高干旗鼓，4号交舞，再想入股，又可想带出大旗，安安心心，天忙老子来，揽佬一样暴击，现在自由传进吧，安心归家。这个项目箭在弦上，自干自到牙买加，生涯开花，水平越拉，我赚得越大，奇怪。给老板气得生扑缓缓倒进杯子，烟杯了。我白球金却自倒带口，怎么回事？我屌你妹！妹仔说我笨，笑声响彻包厢。生意做得成，从来不靠烧香。社会磨砺过，我快找不到带口，怎么办？白纸黑字成为我的抬头。我怀念我曾经枪出如龙，这种记忆莫早失去。要钓大鱼，首先收皮。要想成名，首先失去。为了赚米赚，为了兄弟这杆白球还是进了袋。都说人外人，天外天，朋友你别不服。你要走捷径，做成事，首先忍住。初生牛犊不怕虎，那是自我安慰。因为长距离坐飞机快过公路，揽佬就像战斗机，正准备超越音速。
If you've watched a few of my videos, you know I'm not someone who prefers excessive bass. While I occasionally lean towards warmer, more rounded tuning, it's primarily driven by the desire for the sound of bygone era. When it comes to the serious music appreciation, my preference actually leans more towards monitoring headphones. I seek more nuanced layer, with low frequencies require rebounds and clear imaging, and high frequency needs a bright sound and a relatively natural harmonic extension. For example, the equipment I use for my PC setup is simply an AKG K92, which I drive directly via an audio interface. This is one of my most frequently used configurations. Based on the above criteria, let's discuss the sound of the XM6. Overall, the XM6 continues Sony's signature tuning style, with all three frequency bands emphasized equally, without favoring any one side. However, the sound quality is now more warm and muffled compared to the previous models. All sounds are somewhat stale, and the soundstage isn't narrow. But all sounds are positioned further back. The sound seems to have a thin veil over it. After repeated adjustments, the configuration I found to provide the best overall sound quality is like this. Yes, you need to completely eliminate the warm, fuzzy feeling around 250 Hz to achieve the relatively bright and clear sound. However, the most awkward part is at 4K Hz. If you kit it as shown as a diagram, the vocal might lack details in some sounds. But if you boost it and even 1 dB, it might become overly harsh in certain tracks. Additionally, this tuning setup cannot resolve the issue that when listening to sound with complex arrangements, the sound still becomes muddled, especially if the sound features guitars. In such cases, I believe you might encounter one of the worst guitar tunes ever, with extreme high frequency blending together to form a massive sound wall that overwhelms you. This issue is quite complex because you can sense it's not about resolution problems. The XM6 is actually performs well in solo performances or the vocals, with the information density still at a flagship level. In my view, this issue seems more like the result of the driver reaching its performance limits. From the result, the 30mm dynamic driver used in the XM6 clearly lags significantly behind the 40mm dynamic driver in the outerwear and XM4. From the frequency response curve, we can see that XM6's curve is much smoother. However, on one hand, the roll-off between the 1 kHz and the 2 kHz contributes to the metallic feel. And on the other hand, the reduction in the low frequency quantity makes the peak between the 3 kHz and 4 kHz stand out so prominently. After the 6 kHz, the roll-off continues downwards, with no supplementation in the extreme high frequencies. This is why the XM6 sounds so lacking in details and dull. And if you're still confused, let me explain why I think the XM4 sounds better. The XM4 has the wider soundstage, with all 3 frequency bands protruding forward. From the frequency response, we can see this is the source of the classic Sony tuning. Both the bass and mid-range vocals have received a similar boost, while the boost between 500 Hz and 1 to 2 kHz enhancing the overall metallic feel, making the vocals and high-frequency instruments sound more solid. When you compare the 3 kHz frequency range and beyond with the XM6, it becomes very clear that 30mm dynamic drivers simply cannot match the 40mm drivers in terms of detail reproduction. The XM6 likely isn't unwilling to do this, it simply can't. A simple example, if you want a 16 kHz frequency band of the XM4 sound, you need nearly 15 dB of gain. But Sony EQ setting only allows you to boost a single frequency band by up to 6 dB. Ironically, Sony's powerful chip processing capability becomes a liability here. The XM6 gives you a sense of hearing certain details, but you actually can't make sure what you are hearing. The more you focus on those sounds, the more you get sharp, blurry mass of noise. On the other hand, even though the outerwear is interfere in terms of price, build quality, and possibly the materials, you can actually get a better experience with it. While the outerwear has a noticeable hand-thumping sensation in its original sounds of the tuning, I achieved what I consider the best sound quality in this configuration. This is primarily thanks to the outerwear's feature, which acts like the low-pass filter. In Out 1 mode, you get a wilder, horizontal soundstage and more detailed bass. Adjusting the clear bass eliminates the bass-heavy feel, fine-tuning at 400 Hz enhancing the bass clarity, and I also boosted the mid-range to make vocals more prominent. This results in a bright, versatile sound profile, with a bass that is clear, tight, and natural. If you prefer a more impactful bass response, Out 2 delivers that as well. Looking at frequency response, and this further confirms my theory, the 40mm dynamic driver's possibility is superior to the 30mm drivers. While the outerwear's resolution might not match the XM series, but thanks to the driver's potential and the presence of the clear bass feature, well, guess what? The XM6 has actually removed this feature. It beats the XM6 in terms of sound quality. In terms of noise cancellation, the Sony's noise cancellation technology is at the forefront of the industry. And both the XM4 and the XM6 has become some of the best noise cancellation headphones in the industry. Therefore, we won't discuss the specification today. Instead, we will focus on the experience. Here is a listening test for you to experience for yourself. From the listening test, we can conclude that in an airplane noise environment, the XM6 background noise control is significantly better than that of the XM4 and outerwear. However, in subway or bustling city environments, due to the increasing of the mid to high frequency noise, the differences between the three headphones are not significant. While the XM4 is still somewhat outdated, the average differences remains around 3 dB. The outerwear performs similarly. If we were playing music, I believe the differences in experience between them won't be greater than the differences between the main character in different anime series. To summarize, if you're not obsessed with the XM6 the design or prefer the fancy features added to the XM6 over sound quality, I definitely not recommend you to buy it. The noise cancellation is comparable, but the sound quality is far inferior, and the fit is least comfortable. The final straw that breaks the camel's back is its current price, which is twice that of the XM4 and outerwear. I'm not disagreeing with Sony's improvements in new smart features. I mean, they are cool, but they are an essential part of the barrier between the major manufacturers. I completely understand that, but what I can accept is that all of these might have been achieved at expense of sound quality. Perhaps using a smaller unit was done to make room for the integrated circuit. For me, no matter how many additional features a headphone has, it's just a bonus. If it doesn't sound good, nothing else matters. Based on this logic, I really recommend just buying an XM4 instead. It has all their core features, better build quality than outerwear, better sound than XM6, and can last just as long. Alright, that's for today's video. If you like this one, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That means everything to me. If you have anything to ask, feel free to leave a comment down below and keep exploring. I see you next week.